The Paperwhite 4 features a 6-inch E-Encarta HD capacitive touchscreen display with a resolution of 1072 by 1448 and 300 ppi. It's actually plastic and it's Amazon's own design. This e-reader has Bluetooth, so you can connect up wireless headphones or speakers. This e-reader has 5 LED lights, unlike previous models of the Paperwhite, which only had 4. Underneath the hood is a Freescale Cortex A9 1GHz processor and 512 MB of RAM. There's 2 different storage options depending on your needs. There's 8GB and 32GB. Finally, it's powered by a 1500 milliamp battery. Amazon designed a new home screen for the Kindle Paperwhite 4, and they have pushed a firmware update to all modern Kindles after 2013, so you can get the same home screen on your older Kindles if you wanted to. Basically, it's a scrolling type of interface now, whereas before everything was sort of static and contained on this like one screen. Now it has like a scroll bar, so Amazon can give you more information specifically on books that are on Amazon Charts. Amazon Charts is a relatively new program. It's books that are trending in your specific country. One of the other things is under Home, Back, Settings, Goodreads Store. There's actually words underneath there instead of just the iconography. If you click here, you can actually access both the Kindle and Audible Store, Goodreads, Kindle Free Time, Vocabulary Builder, the web browser, settings, and whatnot.
Mike, it's the experimental web browser after 10 generations.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Your account, this is like where all your personal stuff is, managing social networks and whatnot. Household and family library, you can actually add different people here, as well as do your free time unlimited option. So
you can see we did an example by adding John just to get something populated on the screen, and we put him under a child account, so you're able to put adults or children.
And so family profiles ties into themes, so you can actually set up different themes based on like your reading settings. So this is like where you would choose fonts, change sizes, change in like specific settings and whatnot, and then you can create family themes. So we can create a John theme if we wanted to, using large fonts, very bold text and stuff. So Goodreads is a company that Amazon bought many years ago now, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's a social media and book discovery network. You can tie it to your Facebook account, tell people what you're just starting to read when you finish a book. You can add books to like your profile that you've read before. You can see that some of my friends have 50% read in that book, 61% in that book. So you can track their reading progress, and these are people that you've actually like friended like on Goodreads. You can also see like recommendations based on your friends and based on the books that you've actually added to your Goodreads shelves like in the past. And I think it's a good community. It's adds a different dimension to the e-reading experience, and Amazon's really the only company to really have a dedicated social book discovery network on all of their Kindles. And so it reading's a solitary experience sometimes, whereas Goodreads makes it a little bit more social. So this is the store experience on a Kindle. You can see that scrolling very quick. You can see that there's sections here like new releases, historical, for you from Amazon Charts. Some of it is curated based on purchases that you've made in the past. Some of them is just like special seasonal event themes. You can click on a book and you can kind of get a sense of what you can offer here. So you can buy it $14 or so. Mentions customer, this is sort of very much akin to the Amazon style of website. Audible on e-readers is relatively new. It doesn't have the curated sections that, say, the ebook store has, because the ebook store is more entrenched on Amazon. I mean, Amazon's been selling ebooks since like Gen 1, basically, 10, 11 years ago now.
Then, yeah.
So it's the same sort of thing with audiobooks. If you have like an Audible subscription, you can actually use credits to purchase them. You can purchase this for $5. You click on it, it gets downloaded. You can see, please pair a Bluetooth device to listen now.
The reading experience is very much the same, except one thing actually went the opposite direction, is that when you click the top, you can no longer click the double A button instantly and get to your page settings. It's actually an additional step. You have to click on that and then font and page settings. So they actually went the opposite direction in that one. Font has different fonts, bolds. You can bold everything now. Before it was like, Bookerly and Amazon Ember bold and everything. Now everything can be bolded. Everything can be changed in size. We'll just show you that it changes live. Page settings, margin, spacing, orientation, alignment, reading settings, location, and book. You can pause the video at any time if you want to read that.
Yeah, you can even show the clock while you're reading if you wanted
That's
to.
right, and it's a dedicated toggle switch too, so very important. And themes, Mike touched on that before, where you can actually make themes. You can save your themes, name your themes, and they're accessible right here under page display, as we showed you earlier. Page turns are very fast. We have highlights, and we got rid of the translation feature under the 3 dots. It's actually over here now next to the Wikipedia. So you can translate any language to any language you see on this drop-down list, even complex Chinese and Japanese characters like that, which is really cool. Mike pointed out that the keyboard is a little bit different. You'll notice that on previous generations there were squares around the letters. There are no squares
Drop shadows
anymore.
sometimes.
Yeah, the space button now has a little isolated square around the word space. It's just little things like that that make it different. You also have secondary and tertiary keys, trademark, and whatnot. We're not going to make a note for now. You can also make highlights by clicking highlight. It saves it right there. Long pressing as well. You have share, although they don't have a whole lot of options. They have email, Goodreads, Facebook, and Twitter. Not bad. Clicking on one last thing and going to the little drop down, you have open dictionary and report content error. Clicking on the 3 dots, you get a drop down. X-ray is about closer to the bottom. X-ray allows you to search people, terms, and notable clips and images in a particular book. So for example, if I click Ebenezer Scrooge, it mentions all the times in which he was mentioned. You can click on one of the sections to jump to that section. Also clicking on the 3 dots, we have something very interesting that Mike found that I was like, no way, you're lying. Disable touchscreen on a device that has no physical buttons. You'll notice a disclaimer here. You can pause the video if you want to read it. Basically tells you that you're going to have to press the power button to reactivate the touchscreen. Any tap you do on the screen will no longer work. There's only 2 things that'll work. Swipe from right to left, or swipe from left to right. That is it. To reactivate it, you have to click the power button once to go into standby, click it again to get out of it. You can then continue to use the screen as usual. Now, PDFs have been hit or miss with Paperwhite models. Actually, the first 2 Paperwhite generations couldn't even handle PDFs. It would have insufficient RAM, forced closes. Alerts would say that you don't have enough memory to actually use this PDF. It was crazy, but now they're doing really well. They have a nice mini map on the top left corner, which, unlike some devices, is the entire scaled down version, not just a square. Another thing that sets this aside, although it is a little slow doing this, you do have the ability to long press and make all the same functions you would have in an ebook on a PDF. Graphic novels and manga are very nice, especially if you have a larger capacity Kindle like a 32 gig. You can do your taps, although it's right to left, so note that. Page turns are very nice as well, and you'll notice right here they've actually borrowed the rapid page turn system from their manga model, and you'll notice that by the little slider here. You can actually choose the percentage in which you want it to change pages, and it rapidly whips through the book. This is very nice, and it's not located on any other Paperwhite pre-Kindle Paperwhite 3. Now we can go over to a cell here and do some pinching and zooming. You'll notice that there is no mini-map of a full rendered image. Instead, there's just the square I mentioned on the bottom
yeah, the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah, so this is where they kind of cut corners, so to speak. So this is the layout for the audio experience. Basically, you have some stuff down at the bottom and a slider bar up top. So this actually allows you to slide over 10 minutes left in the chapter, 6 minutes left, etc. You can go back and forth 30 seconds, press the play button. You have a listing of chapters. You have the speed here, and it goes all the way up to 3 times. We have add bookmark, so you can bookmark a certain timestamp.
You can add a note if you want to.
That's right. You have a volume slider there, so you can slide all the way up to the top. You can also change the volume on your respective device. We're using the iClever speaker, which will let you hear in a little, in a few minutes. We're connected to it, and if you go to reading, it actually jumps over to the reading part of the book, and you'll notice that if your book has the audiobook as well, you'll have the audio logo down at the bottom, which toggles back to the audio experience.
And on the kitchen table, they found a note on a yellow legal pad. Seth had printed neatly, "Alvin, please inform the authorities I've taken my own life with no help from anyone."
Now, really gone are the days of over-analyzing the glow light, because back when the Barnes & Noble Nook glow light had like one LED and it was all blue on half the page and like couldn't even see the top and there were tears in the screen. I mean, glow lights have really stabilized since then. Corner to corner, up top to bottom, it's just consistent. I mean, that's not what we're here for. We're here to look at the things it can and can't do, and the things that it can't do is warm lighting. You'll notice that there is no way to change the LEDs at the bottom. There are simply 5 LEDs at the bottom pointed up, and you can't change the color, unlike pretty much every other manufacturer where you can.
So there's a few things I like about the Paperwhite 4. Flush screen and bezel with a non-glass display.
Yes.
Almost every flush screen and bezel that we've seen have had a glass display, which makes the e-reader heavy. What do you like about it?
I like that the manga model, I'm a big fan of the manga model. I've always loved it. It's been one of my go-tos for reading my mangas, and I like how they brought the system over to this. They didn't segregate it with a specific manga edition of this device and charge more and isolate the countries in which it was available from. They just put it on here, and it's very nice to see that they've really loaded this thing. It's like a fully loaded device. I mean, it's very voyagey with the flush screen and bezel, has the manga features on it. You do have LTE available with Bluetooth. I mean, there's a lot going on for this thing.
It's important to note that you can't just browse the internet, you can't visit Facebook, you can't do all this stuff. You're limited. You could download and purchase books from Amazon via WhisperSync and in the cloud and everything like that.
Right. Quick fun fact, now that you mentioned that stopped on the Kindle keyboard. The Kindle keyboard was actually free, unlimited 3G access, and you could go on Google Maps, browse Google, social media platforms, and everything else, which you can still do to this day.
And people actually used that to bypass the Great Firewall in China. They would import Kindles and be able to like surf unfiltered web because it was provided by like AT&T, so you'd hit those relays.
That's right.
Yeah. So drop a comment below. Let us know what you think about the 4th generation Paperwhite. For goodereader.com, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.